In this video, we will discuss a few interesting questions that were asked in the previous year's GATE questions related to welding. Okay, so the first question is, what is the effect of clearance or gap in determining the strength of a braced joint? We know in bracing a small gap or clearance has to be maintained in between the two workpieces to be joined. This clearance has to be optimum. That means if we increase the gap, then more filler metal can be inserted and thus the joint will become strong. However, if we increase the gap further, now the strength will start to decrease. This is because with larger gap we need to pour or insert more molten metal. This makes the joints weaker due to the problems of incomplete filling of gap and the presence of too much intermetallic compounds. So the correct option is number 4. Now the next question is, which one of the following is a solid state joining process? We know welding, as we know, can be divided into two major heads: the fusion welding as well as the solid state welding. Fusion welding means the faying regions are melted to form the joint. All the different variants of arc and gas welding falls under this category. So naturally, option number 1 and option number 2 will be omitted. Now, solid state welding means the faying regions are heated to a plastic state. Plastic state means heating a metal below its melting point so that it becomes soft. So let us see the resistance spot welding now. It is a technique where where with the help of two copper electrodes we do the welding. When the electricity passes in between the workpieces, the resistance in the workpieces gives rise to heat, and this heat along with the pressure results in a welding in between the workpiece. So this is a fusion welding because a very small region is getting melted. Thus the option which contains the resistance spot welding will be discarded, and our correct option is friction stir welding. Friction stir welding, just for your knowledge I am saying, friction stir welding employs a very specialized tool which rotates very fast and travels along the joining region, and due to this the metal edges becomes soft due to the friction and heat. The soft edges are then pressurized to form a permanent bond. So naturally it is a solid state welding because we are not melting the edges, we are just taking it to the plastic state. Okay, in the next question they are asking that which of the following uses a non-consumable electrode. Okay, the first one, if we take example of the first one, in tungsten arc welding we use an electrode which is made up of tungsten. Now tungsten being a very hard metal, it doesn't melt and it will not get deposited on the weld pool. So the correct option is gas tungsten arc welding. Just for your information, I am saying that the option 2, 3 and 4, in all these cases we use a consumable electrode. Consumable electrode means this electrode is fed with the help of wear roll, and it gets continuously it gets deposited in the weld pool. Okay, so the correct option is gas tungsten arc welding. Next, in the question number 4, they are asking to match the correct pairs. So the first one is friction welding. So if we now look at the right hand side, we have 4 options. So the first one is non-consumable electrode. This is not applicable for friction welding because in friction welding we use a specialized tool. Number 2, joining of thick plates is also not applicable because friction welding cannot join very thick plates. Number 3, consumable electrode, where it is not also applicable. So obviously the correct option has to be 4, joining of cylindrical dissimilar materials. Friction welding is a very popular technique used for joining dissimilar materials. So the first one is friction welding will be linked with option number 4. Second one, gas metal arc welding. So gas metal arc welding is a process where we use consumable electrode. That is, the electrode gets deposited continuously and is fed in the weld pool with the help of wear rolls. So it is a consumable electrode wear. Third one, tungsten inert gas welding. Just in the previous question we have discussed, it is a non-consumable electrode type of operation. Okay, And the final one, electroslag welding. Electroslag welding is a specialized welding technique which is used especially to join very thick plates. Okay, so it will be connected to the option number 2. I will make a separate video on this, on the electroslag welding. Okay, and the last, so the correct option is option number A. And the last question of this video is, under optimal condition of the process, which of the following option is correct? So we know from our knowledge that in welding we melt the faying edges of the base metals. So the welding, in welding the temperature has to be the highest as compared to the soldering and brazing. In brazing we use filler metals. We choose those kind of filler metals which melts at about 450 degrees centigrade. Okay, so after welding, linearly brazing will come. And finally, soldering is a technique where the entire process takes place. The filler metal melts at a temperature below 450 degrees centigrade. So the correct sequence will be option number 4. Temperature of welding will be highest, then temperature of brazing, and then followed by finally temperature of soldering. So this was all about these 5 questions. In the next subsequent videos, I will discuss some other important questions that were asked in GATE and other competitive exams. For more such videos, please subscribe Meg Vidya. Thank you.